Hello and welcome to Black Dragon Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Timeless Pick a Card reading, which is part 2 of our collaboration series, Shamanic Tarot, pretty much. I don't know if that's the official name, but that's what I'll call it today. Maybe next time it'll be a different name. But anyway, I'll be working again with Reena from Gold Key Guidance, and today we will be traversing the upper worlds. I am looking today in this pick a card at what Archangel wants to work with you and their message for you. It's essentially kind of like your celestial guides, but Reena will be looking at ascended masters and other higher beings. So for both of the readings, we'll be focusing on inspiration, more celestial, again, upper world insights, guidance, healing messages, and so forth. And yeah, I'm very excited for this. I think, as Ed mentioned in the post, it's a very nice contrast to the lower world that we did previously. And I'll have a link, hopefully, if I remember, a link to not only Reena's part of the collaboration in the description, or maybe the comments, but I'll also have a link to part 1 in case you missed those. But yeah, I'm excited to be working with Reena again. She's fantastic. And I have 3 piles for you to choose from. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And so if you need some more time, I'll have a still image up for you, as well as the timestamps will be in the description, so you can go ahead and select your pile. I'm looking forward to this one, and I'll see you at your reading. Hi, pile 1. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading on a message from the celestial realm, and more specifically, in this reading, I'll be looking at which archangel wants to work with you, or archangels, and what their messages are. I'm going to leave this to the side, and I think this is going to be more of the main part of this reading. And of course, if you missed the intro, this is part of a collaboration series between myself and Gold Key Guidance Tarot, where she'll be looking at messages from the ascended masters and your higher self, so more higher guidance, if you will. But let's go ahead and take a look at what Archangel wants to work with you. Actually, okay, so I have 2 oracle decks for selecting the Archangel. This one has goddesses and ascended masters as well. You know, if I get one of those, I'll pull it and I'll show it to you, but I'm not gonna really touch on it unless there's an Archangel. Speaking of, I'm gonna pull until I get an Archangel, but this isn't actually your main Archangel. This is kind of supporting energy. Okay. So before I pull which Archangel wants to work with you, I do have 3 cards here. The first is Goddess Freya with Amber, the Untamed. I'm gonna leave all these here. It's funny because I was gonna do for one of my shorts a song called Freya by The Sword. It's fantastic. Maybe I'll tag it in this. But anyway, we also have Ascended Master El Moria with Blue Star Sapphire and Higher Will. Just mentioning these in case it comes up in Reena's reading. And I'll tell you what I think is going on, but in a second. And then finally we have Angel Uziel and Smoky Quartz, Heavenly Mercy. What's interesting about this oracle deck is that they don't really talk about the ascended masters, goddesses, or the angels. More about like the stone that's used and the message. Mildly frustrating because I want to read up on who Uziel is, but I can't in this. So I apologize for that. I encourage you to look that up on your own if you feel called to do so. But let's go ahead and finally find out what Archangel wants to work with you and their message. Archangel Fele. Honor animals, communicate with different species. I laugh because, of course, part one of the series was finding out your shamanic power animal, and the reading before that was also kind of like a spirit animal based reading with the dragon and phoenix. So I just find that that's a continuation of that for this. What I'm getting here, especially with banquet for the soul, is this archangel wants to kind of, I say this a lot, like honor all aspects of yourself, but there is both a wild side and a more celestial side to you. I'm thinking of kind of a few things, right? And it's weird to say that if you were to see yourself as an animal, I think you'd give yourself more mercy in a way that, like, sometimes a dog or an animal does something kind of silly, you know, from time to time, like birds flying into windows, or a dog runs away or whatever. And oftentimes as a human, we're willing to forgive unless it's a violent act, you know, but forgive kind of silly things or misbehavior, things like that. But when it comes to us, we don't have that same level of compassion in a general sense, not only within ourselves, but with other people who might just not have been trained, so to speak, or have that spiritual connection, or the awareness of their spiritual connection that you might have. And I think that's what these cards are saying so far, is not only it says heavenly mercy with this card, but I think compassion with your own vibrancy, as well as seeing that in others. And I think having Archangel Philae, I'm sorry, I'm butchering that name probably, but this Archangel is trying to instill that energy of compassion, loyalty to not only animals, but bringing that into your connection with human beings, which is very difficult because it can be challenging to work with. But at the same time, I do think that this brings more satisfaction to your soul than you might realize. And that slight adjustment, I think, will bring your vibration to a higher place. And I'm kind of getting that with Goddess Freya showing up. Untamed spirit, right? Not letting yourself back. And I think this ties pretty nicely with the animals that Archangel Philae wants to... I'm going to just say Archangel F, sorry, but wants you to notice, you know, that even the more wild side of other people has its place in a cosmic level. And a lot of times archangels can see and understand things in a different way than humans can. I mean, you could argue that they perceive outside of time, and maybe our interactions aren't as serious to them as they are to us. So it's kind of like keeping as lighthearted as possible. And again, that connection with animals will help kind of get you adjusted, acclimated to what it's like to connect with people. Like, so you're bridging that gap between, like, oh, I'll see a dog, or I like squirrels and I'll sit with one, stare at one, and just admire its beauty and its random quirks. The more you could find that with human beings, I think the more enjoyable your experience will be on Earth. And consequently, your vibration will go up and more opportunities will come to you through that whole process, really. But we're going to get a message from Archangel F. Alright, so let's look at this. I have 5 cards. I don't think I'm going to clarify these. Yeah, I'm going to keep it under 10 minutes. But with this angelic deck, we have the 9 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, 9 of Wands, and Hanged Man. And we're seeing those two, I just happen to look at this, the Queen of Swords here. Being at the bottom of the deck, I think this is important. It's the mindset, right? Governing these two sides of you, which again is reflected in Ascended Master Moria and Goddess Freya. The colors are completely different, polarizing. One seems almost more tamed, more harmonious, I should say, this blue side, versus the untamed. And I think both of these elements, both of these energies want to work with you, and how do you find that balance in your day-to-day, in small activities, and in your mindset more specifically. But because we have the Nine of Pentacles and King of Pentacles, especially 9, all about self-mastery and not only resources and I was gonna say like security, but it's almost as if you had the opportunity to help people or animals, I'd imagine you'd lean more towards animals. And with the Ace of Wands and Nine of Wands, so 2 9s here, it's just feels like spreading that compassion to all sides of you and balancing that out. So if you have the passion for, let's say, volunteering at a shelter or something like that, but you could use the money to, maybe the small gesture would be like, if there's a homeless person, give them like some cash or something. I think like pulling energy, and physically, this is like a physical action that has to take place between those two realms. And I think again, more donating to charity or something like that will bring in more of an equilibrium into your life. And so with the Hanged Man card at the end, it's asking to, I mean, in the same way that Archangel F, as I'll say, is kind of asking you to reflect at a higher perspective, looking down, quite literally. Looking down at your day-to-day, looking down at how you live your life and your mindset towards certain things. Again, specifically in regards to people and in regards to your relationship with money as well, because that can shift. You know, evil can be seen as, or money can be seen as evil, like not. People can be evil, and money makes people change, you know, potentially in an evil sense. And I think for some of you, that relationship or that dialogue is something that plays in your head, is that there's almost a disdain for that sort of behavior. But I've seen where people feed birds and then all of a sudden it becomes a war zone. They would have been walking and eating side by side in harmony, but as soon as someone throws a bunch of chips or whatever, they all start fighting. And that's the kind of thing that happens with money in a lot of ways, and I think you see that. But it's not humanity's fault. Well, kind of, you know. It's just the circumstance. It's like it's the chip throwing that causes the birds to act in that way. It's the dopamine rush. But if you can have that forgiveness with people in a general sense, in a way that will shift the experience that you have with not only humanity, but also with your relationship with money, and overall your view of the world as a whole, as a house for all different sorts of spirits and creatures. And then we have higher realms and magic. Oh, that's beautiful. With the number 54, which comes up to 9, which has been, this is the third 9 that's showing up in this reading. So just something to keep in mind. Here, I'll show it to you. Magic. I mean, it's easier to, again, see this in nature, in rivers, and I think we had a hunter's new moon or whatever. Full moon, hunter's moon, something like that, or in the sky and sunset. It's easy to see that magic in nature, but it can be a bit more of a challenge to see it in other people, especially when they're not acting at their best or they don't always have the best intentions. And I think that's a pretty big step for you, would be seeing as best you can the magic in everybody, every person that you come across. As you know, you could have run into anybody in the world. There's millions of people, but you're interacting with this person, or you're seeing that person walk by, and the more you see that as a miracle, as an act of the universe, God, what have you, I think overall your sense of place in the world might change. And I think that is the first step to taking your magic dial and turning it up a little bit. So hopefully this reading was helpful. It went all over the place, I think, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing how this reading connects with Reena's part of the collaboration, where she looks at the Ascended Masters, higher beings, higher guidance from the upper world. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, Pile 2. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading from the angelic realm. What Archangel wants to work with you, and what is their message from the upper world. And of course, if you missed the intro, this is a part of the collaboration series that's going on between myself and Reena from Gold Key Guidance, as we're doing a shamanic series, and this time we're focusing on the upper world. And so Reena is looking at Ascended Masters, higher beings, and I'm looking at specifically the angelic realm in this collab. So we have healing through challenge as the main message, the main theme of this pile with the number 8. So we're going to go ahead and look at, as I mentioned for pile 1, this deck has Ascended Masters, Goddesses, and Archangels, or Angels. I'll pull whatever comes up, but only focus really on the Angels before looking at who your main Archangel guide is at this time. Angel Amidial and Blue Obsidian, Revelation. We also have a couple other beings here. Ascended Master Mataji and Crimson Cuprite, Relief and Repair. So we're already noticing a theme. And then Goddess Ishtar with Astrophyllite, Daring Rebirth. And if you remember, the oracle that you chose was Healing Through Challenge. So I think there is, this team here, but specifically coming from Angel Amidial and Revelation, your association and, with challenging circumstances is bringing about a lot of change. And I think this revelation is, it's huge, right? It allows you to travel into new timelines, into new realities, and that's just based on instead of being bogged down by difficult experience, how is it helping you grow and become stronger? And it's so much easier to say that, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, whatever. Like, you could hear it in lyrics and write it down 30 million times, but when you're experiencing it, it's completely different, and it brings about a lot of emotions, sadness, an incredible amount of anger sometimes, and your association with, again, that experience is part of what it means to be human, and what it means also to ascend as a human into higher being. And I think that bridges the gap between yourself and your higher self. But your main Archangel guide is actually Archangel Gabriel. Shimmer through diamond light, express your creativity. Diamonds. I'm thinking of the song Diamonds Are Forever from 007. It's like being that diamond, that precious gem is also incredibly strong, right? And so it's like these challenges create the shape, but the diamond itself will not break, and that can be seen as, let's say, your soul, and so the stronger your faith is in what you really are, I think the easier it can be for you to traverse these more difficult circumstances, and knowing that, hey, like, after all this, I'm gonna be so much more capable than I was. I'll I have something to gain from this experience. So we have the Page of Cups. Strength. Yeah. I had mentioned strength, right? Strength is, I think, especially for most of the collective, I think, that's watching this, it's earned. It's not something that's just inherent. And I think it's the challenges that it's that pressure that make you more and more aware of the strength that you have. Because otherwise, there wouldn't be the same level of appreciation that you have for yourself and your ability to overcome circumstances. But I also think with Archangel Gabriel, a big part of this is your life purpose. But on top of that, it's your ability to share your own journey, kind of shine, again, that light that you've absorbed through this experience with other people. And the sharing is very important because as someone who I think has the potential to become an ascended master, really, how can you share, and not only share, but empathize with other people who are struggling throughout this journey of being thrown in the fire constantly? And how many times do you say or hear people say, like, what's the point of all of this? It can be very heavy, you know. But as someone who's gone through and come out the other side as literally a diamond forged from that hardship, you can be a beacon of hope to those who are still being forged. And that's a very, again, difficult situation to be in. But I think that's what also this Daring Rebirth card is all about. It's like through darkness, it's the contrast, really, of darkness and light that makes, I think, the universe as a whole a vibrant, beautiful, and dynamic place to be in. So we have the Page of Cups, Strength card, Two of Swords. I think the Strength card here is self-explanatory. The message is pretty clear, honestly. Four of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. I'm going to get a clarifier for the Four of Cups. But Ace of Pentacles. I'll clarify that too. 6. The Fool and Queen of Cups. Oh, and 8 of Cups. There's a lot of cups showing up. There's this part of me that thinks, like, you've gotten to the point where you're so used to these difficult, challenging circumstances that you almost get bored when it isn't happening. But that boredom isn't a sign that you're not growing. It's more of like an assimilation of the energies and your experiences and time to reflect before the next big thing happens. I also think with the 8 of Cups and Queen of Cups is that as someone who is learning to take more and more control of your life, where you choose to go is becoming, I said that weird, where you choose to go is becoming more clear. But like your path is becoming more and more apparent, especially with Archangel Gabriel, where you might have felt lost with the Page of Cups. This comes full circle with the Queen of Cups and also the Ace of Pentacles, where the journey forward is more clear the more you understand yourself, align with your soul, and allow this soul to be expressed through you. Again, kind of like polishing that diamond, if you will, where it just becomes more and more vibrant and takes form, right? Like your sense of place, that your reason for being on Earth becomes more and more clear as you continue through this journey, through, again, healing through this challenge. And you'll notice that there's that bridge between the higher realm and the lower world, it's kind of creating a vessel for you to traverse the cosmos as a whole and to experience much more than you could possibly imagine. But your ability to have that experience is limited by how far this vessel, this oh no, what's it called? The star, not Star of David. It's this. What is this thing called? I forget. You'll have to remind me in the comments, but it's like it's building that spaceship, the celestial interdimensional spaceship that allows you to literally astral travel, but also be aware of different energies that are taking place in your day-to-day and how they influence you, and being able to use these to your advantage, to be able to make money in a lot of ways. Right? Make money, but also make friends, make sense of your place on this planet. And I think that's a huge part of your journey, and something that Archangel Gabriel is working very closely with you so that you can achieve and feel a sense of satisfaction and joy, ultimately, throughout all this pain and challenge and transformation. A sense of accomplishment is bound to be very strong with you. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. The twist is that you are that light. So I'm going to go ahead and end the reading there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully this ties nicely to Reena's part of the collaboration, where she looks at messages, guidance from Ascended Masters, your higher self, things like that from the upper world, and I'll kind of see, of course, how these things tie in. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading on from the upper world, really. What Archangel wants to work with you, what message they have, and really the overall guidance from the upper world. And of course, if you missed the intro, this is part of the collaboration between myself and Reena from Gold Key Guidance, where we're doing a giant shamanic series, but this one focusing on the upper world, and she's looking at guidance, healing, insight from your higher self, and from Ascended Masters. So again, I'll have the link for that in the description, I think. But here we're looking at the Archangels, your main archangelic guide, and this card that you chose is Space Clearing. Could be a sign to make space for the angelic realm. And I giggle because I imagine there was a pile from the lower world that kind of reminds me of that, where I don't know which pile it was, but where like your animal spirit guide wasn't there in the first set of cards. You'll know if you saw it, but anyway. So I'm going to choose a few cards from this deck, which has not only angels, but also Ascended Masters and Goddesses. Oh, perfect. There's a reason why I didn't do the same explanation I did for the other two piles, but I'm not going to tell you. Anyway, we have Angel Bath Cole. And Aquamarine with Authentic Voice, the number 17, which comes to 8. This feels out of more so than the other archangels that like there's a celestial vibe to this one, more starseed energy coming through, and I think that's why the Space Clearing card is coming through, because it's what helps you connect back to your starseed ancestors and your star family. But let's go ahead and see what Archangel wants to work with you. That's just one of your angelic guides. It's Angel Bath Cole. Here, you read it. With Aquamarine. Gentle, authentic communication. Okay, Archangel Amethyst. Purify your life with love, prepare for something better. I think that makes sense with Space Clearing. This Archangel specifically is helping you transmute energies that are around you. And I think that's a nice way to see things, is that, you know, you think of space clearing and clearing energy in general, but it's not like just, it's not just making space, it's transmuting energy again. It's like there's an energy for you to work with that'll become something different. And I think that's a good way to see your living situation, your circumstance in general, that even if there's difficult people around you, you could use that energy for something good. Even though that's a more advanced practice, it is a practice nonetheless, and it is a source of your power. I'm thinking of like an energy vampire for some reason, where like I'm thinking of musicians, I guess, where they draw upon the energy of the crowd to perform and enhance their performance, that sort of thing. And so if you're dealing with like a difficult roommate or work environment, you could still use their energy to accomplish what you want to accomplish. But also with Archangel Amethyst, definitely, if you don't already, consider doing like an amethyst fire ritual or something like that. You even see the purple in the outer rings here, and that you naturally have this transmutational ability, and that it's not a coincidence that sometimes more difficult energies come towards you, or people with a lot of baggage comes towards you, because they know that you have the ability to cleanse and clear and put those energies back into the universe in its appropriate place or what have you, but that you naturally have that ability. And it might feel burdensome, but it also, I'm seeing with authentic voice here, is that you also, and I don't say this too often, but you give other people the space to be more authentic for themselves. And that's a sense of liberation that you give to others. It's a gift, really. And that gift is something that comes to you because of your connection with Archangel Amethyst. And I would say Archangel Zadkiel too. They're fairly similar in energy, you know. But we have the Emperor, the High Priestess, the Star, and the Four of Wands. Look at all this. Is a very powerful pile, you know, a very powerful energy and message that wants to come through from Archangel Amethyst. It's I was going to say, the more of a burden that it feels, the more power that you have. So again, when people come to you with their problems, think about like a king or a queen or a shaman, where the whole community comes to this one person for healing, for messages. I think you have, not to like feed your ego or anything, but you're like that in a more urban setting, a more modern setting, that you have that energy within you naturally. And so it's not a coincidence. And so I think that's also why Archangel Amethyst, and also your connection to that celestial realm, the starseed energy, is so strong with this pile, because it's anchored deep within you. And I'm seeing with this Four of Wands here, I don't know, I just feel like you're a very accurate reflection of the angelic realm. But let me show you the Emperor. This is that power that I had mentioned, the powerful energy. But also part of the reminder as to why you need to actively clear your space, work with Amethyst, work with the violet flame, things like that, because the more people come to you and seek your guidance and look for your energy just to be near you, the more you need to be aware of like your personal space, your personal energy. It's okay to say no. No, I can't help you right now. That's what an emperor would do. Like, emperor doesn't just allow each and every person to come in. There's like appointments, if you will, things like that, kind of like respect your power and your space. And I think that's what Archangel Amethyst is saying, to respect it, like in a way that, no, never mind. Oh, that's going to bother you, isn't it? It's like calling upon an angel, calling upon an entity or whatever. Imagine that that's you, that you're being called upon. You don't want someone to just call upon you and then like, hey, come here, and then what is it? And they don't respond. That's irritating. I feel irritated just now thinking about that. You don't want that to be you. You don't want people to waste your time. Like, if you don't have, or if they don't have a purpose to having you around, it's time to move on. Clear the space and move on, because you could help someone else or help yourself. Because I think by helping yourself, meditating on your own, being alone, you're not just sitting there doing nothing. You're actively or inactively connecting with your heritage, which is celestial in nature, starseed energy, angelic, that you're just realigning with that. And so when someone interrupts that, not to say it has to be like a grand reason, but they have to at least appreciate what it is that you're offering them. And I think that also ties nicely to the High Priestess as a channel to esoteric energy and wisdom. That's there, that's something you provide. But again, she's in between two barriers. Although this can be represented in like the two columns in the Tree of Life, those, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm butchering it. God, I'm having a blank, whatever. But the two sides, severity, mercy, that sort of thing, that inherent balance that you have, or you have the potential to have, but also barriers between, everyone energetically that wants like a piece of you, if you will. But again, to guard it, she's holding this close. And so I think a big part of this reading, and look, if you look closely, the way that she's holding, hopefully the lighting helps, right? But she's holding this sphere. Look at how Archangel Amethyst is holding her crystal. The exact same way. Guarding it. Willing to share it, but not to everybody. And I think that's a big lesson, and I think a big message that Archangel Amethyst wants to share with you is your time, your attention, your loving energy is precious, and it should be seen as precious to the people around you. And if not, or even like if it's a job that doesn't appreciate what you can offer, there's plenty of other opportunities. And I think that's where the star comes in. Again, calling back to your connection with the star, with the celestial realm, but also, it's like, in a way, for some of you this might make sense, but like, I'm thinking of a dream weaver, of someone who helps people manifest their dreams. And at the same time, I think you do have the angelic realm to help you manifest your dreams. But the card that we have at the end, closing out this reading, is Mother Earth, grounding and support. For as strong as your connection is to the stars, to the angelic realm, it's also your connection to Earth that grounds these things and creates really, it's kind of like with crystals, right? With something like amethyst, where it's a physical object, but it holds celestial power and energy. That's a lot like what you are, is your connection to the earth, and your body and your existence in a lot of ways is like a crystal, where you hold a lot of that celestial energy, but it does have physical form, and that requires maintenance, not only physically with your body, but also spiritually, energetically, just not to overlook that maintenance that needs to take place, and especially with this power, because of how vibrant and powerful and magnetic your energy is, to be aware of that and to value it in a way that it should be, which is, it's kind of like an angel, a human angel, something like that. Earth angel, is that what it is? The more you see yourself that way, the more that you see yourself as the High Priestess and Emperor and the star, like combined as a being. Look at this dimensional gateway and invitation. Look at the vibrancy that this person has. And I think the more you see yourself that way, the more you maintain and take care of yourself and have that internal value, if you will, I think the more others will have a little more respect and appreciation for who you are and what it is that you offer the world. Because I feel, again, like that might be a recurring issue. So if you want to shift that, I think Archangel Amethyst is really ready to help you. Not that she isn't already, but that connection could always be even stronger and really amplify your power. So I'm thinking last thing, and then I'm gonna close it out. But it's like charging a crystal. You know, like the crystal's there, but you could. I don't know if some crystals you could put in water. You could have like a plate or something, or the moon charges it or whatever, the sun. But like it's taking that time for your body and your energy to charge, so that your power can be utilized more efficiently for yourself and for others, and helping all of those dreams come to life. So yeah, I'm gonna end the reading there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please let me know how it connects to Reena's part of the collaboration. Again, I'll have a link to hers in the description, probably, or comments, I don't know. But she'll be looking at guidance from your ascended masters, your higher self, higher beings, really. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next reading. Thank you so much for walking. I almost had it. You know that? Watching. Thank you for watching and walking, I guess, too. But looking forward to seeing you in the next reading. Take care. So let's talk about these bracelets. I was sent these by Otter Spirit, and I wanted to give, again, a shout out to Otter Spirit for sending me these bracelets and for sponsoring this video. I chose the Bloodstone, the Green Jade, and Red Jasper. The Red Jasper I really wanted for strength, being a Capricorn rising, and then the Green Jade, I just like green. And the color is so vibrant, and it really does help with my heart chakra. The website was easy to navigate. You can search by zodiac sign, you can search by intention. It's filled with information, and I really love that about the website. But most importantly, like, the quality is just top notch. It really feels great on the wrist. There's a certain weight to it. You know, I've had a few other gemstone bracelets that kind of feel cheap, especially that band in the middle. So, I mean, it stands out. The packaging is gorgeous. They, you know, donate $1 from each bracelet to help support otters, which is really cool. And they're a small kind of family-owned brand, so I feel good with making each purchase. So I highly recommend that you give them a try. Again, if you're in the market for gemstone, jewelry, bracelets, things like that, I do have the code blackdragon20, or you can use the link in the description to get 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for supporting the channel, and I hope to see you in the next reading.